Om Shanti and greetings of peace. I've been in this godly knowledge of Brahma Kumaris since 1975. So I had lots of chances to meet with Didi Manmohini ji. Every year I'd stay 1 to 2 months in our headquarters in Mount Abu, Madhaban. And we were very few foreigners. In fact, I was one of the first. The first time I went to Madhaban, I was the only one there, in fact. That was in November 75. And both Daddy Prakash Mani ji and Didi Manmohini ji would give us so much attention. I guess it was because they were finally seeing our founder father, Brahma Baba's dream come true, that this work would reach the foreign lands. And we were the first ones that sort of, the first fruit in a way. And so they gave us so much attention. I remember once I had a very severe back problem, for example. And I couldn't move, actually. I had damaged my back earlier in my life. And to my great surprise, they came and visited me in my room. In fact, they gave me another room near the Tower of Peace so that I could move around better. I was sort of in the center of things. But I was so touched by their concern and care and so much love they would give us. In those days, I don't remember so many classes, but there were a lot of meetings, a lot of chit-chat meetings, and we could ask questions, and they were telling stories of the original Yagya, the institution as it was in the 30s and 40s. And we just used to love it. So I got to see the different personalities of both Daddy Prakash Mani and Didi Manmohini. Didi she didn't speak so much, as I recall, but she had such a powerful stage of yoga. In fact, when she used to conduct meditation, she just looked straight ahead. Someone asked her, Didi, how come you don't, in Brahma Kumaris we keep our eyes open if we're conducting meditation, and we, just give a sort of a searchlight to the audience who's meditating in front of us. But she used to look straight ahead, and someone asked her, Didi, how come you just look straight ahead? She said, well, I'm giving drishti, this spiritual vision through the eyes, taking power from the Supreme and looking through the eyes with that. I'm giving drishti to the whole world. And so that was Didi. But on the other side, she was very light. She was very joyful. She used to love jokes. She used to love telling jokes and also hearing jokes, and she would laugh so much. Very jolly, but at the same time, very silent, I would suppose. And any time that there was a dance, and there were a lot of dancers in those days, Didi was there participating like everyone else, even though she had a very bad leg. She used to limp around, but she was there dancing. And she used to play pranks on us. For example, she had this trick of getting a coin, a small coin, and pressing it to our foreheads. And so she would keep it pressed, and then she'd take her thumb away, and at the same time she would remove the coin, but we didn't know that. And so she said, now take the coin away. We couldn't find it. And she used to laugh so much because it was a trick. The impression of the coin was still being felt in the forehead. But another time she gave me such a good lesson. I had started a centre in Sydney, and in fact Brother Charlie, who now is responsible for the Brahma Kumaris in Australia, he came to Australia about 18 months after me. And I was alone, and there was a lot of decisions to make. And of course I was feeling the pressures of this work and the world, and I was having a job and getting good salary and so on. And Didi called me and said, hold out your hand. So I gave her my hand and she put a toli, a sweet, in my hand. It was a laddu. And if you know, laddus are made up of lots of little balls of fried besan flour. And then they're dipped in a sort of a syrup, and then you make a bigger ball out of it, and it sort of sticks together. So she gave me a laddu, and I said, oh, that's nice. And then she gave me another one. She gave me 2 laddus. And she said, okay, close your hand tightly. Of course, I closed my hand, and what happened? The 2 laddus sort of crushed against each other, and they just became lots of little balls in my hand. You know, the little balls of fried besan flour. And she said, one of the laddus is the sweetness of God, the sweetness of our Shiv Baba. And the other laddu is the sweetness of that the world offers. And if you try to keep both of them at the same time, they will destroy each other. Because the sweetness of the world, whatever it can offer, and the sweetness that God can offer, are incompatible. I was just sitting there looking at my hand with all of these fried little balls of besan flour, and I thought, oh, yeah, what a great lesson, what a great way to teach. And because, of course, I had to really think about that later, because it was such a deep lesson for me. But anyway, she was always in a light and entertaining mood when we would come to meet her. And there were also many occasions in Peace Park where we would see her, for example, playing cricket or playing badminton. She would bowl to Daddy Prakash Mani, and Daddy Prakash Mani's with a cricket bat trying to hit the ball. And then Daddy would bowl to her, and she was with the bat trying to hit the ball. And of course, it was such a good lot of fun. And then we'd see them playing badminton. And anyway, it was like such a deep experience to see her, such a pleasure to see her. And she was also very, at the same time, she was very correct in everything. In fact, if you try to tell someone something to her about someone else, she would say, what about you? How is your effort? How are your feelings? And so on. She would always ask, and it was like her mantra, she would always say, Shiv Baba Yad Hai? Shiv Baba Yad Hai? And she would love to see our response, because that means if I'm in the remembrance, if I'm in a state of yoga with God, which is the meaning of that phrase, and she was asking us. Even before she said anything to us, she would say, Shiv Baba Yad Hai. So it was like always being reminded of what we're supposed to be doing. And I remember a very special scene, and it actually happened a couple of times, that I was taking leave of Madhavan, and she was there. One time in the office, there was Daddy Ishu there with her, Daddy Prakash Mani and herself and a couple of others. And it was a time to take leave. And of course, as I was taking drishti from her to take leave, the traffic control song played. And so she continued giving drishti and more drishti directly to me for the 3 or 4 minutes of the song. And I was just transported by the experience. And so she really took me beyond the feelings of the body so much. And I guess this was just before she left the body also. It was the time just after the inauguration of the Om Shanti Bhavan, the big auditorium, which she really was a dream of hers. There was a Universal Peace Conference, and after that, we were taking leave, and this is when I had that experience. And just a few months later, she left the body. So, very fond memories of our beloved Didi Manmohini ji. Om Shanti. Again, greetings of peace.